All right, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why cold email and success in cold email, success in your outbound go-to-market motion is no longer dependent on your copywriting or maybe how nice you can write or put stuff together or even just like really soft marketing material, and why it has changed to be a distribution and architecture infrastructure first protocol that you need to be following to see success with this. And I'll go ahead and jump right into it. So for this video, the thesis on this is cold email doesn't fail because the channel is broken. Cold email still works. It's going to continue to work even with these AI inboxes that Google is rolling out. It fails because teams mistake tactics for distribution. And this is where we're seeing a lot of cold email agencies or maybe just individual like contractors that do cold email fall off because they're using the same templates, the same tactics that they've been using for years, and they're just relying on maybe ChatGPT to write the copy or maybe just change one or two words, thinking that that's going to provide a lift. But what really provides the lift is the distribution and the architecture behind that distribution. So offer times volume, like I've spoken about in other videos, is going to actually provide the lift. Architecture beats some type of optimization, and systems compound. These little tactics don't. So who am I? Why you should even listen? My name is Will Butler. I'm the founder of Cyro Business Development Firm. Track record, over 3.2 million in qualified pipeline generated in under 12 months. That was all done via cold email. Booked meetings with Kaiser Permanente, third largest global healthcare system. Hogan Lovells, 14th largest global law firm. FIGS, MasterCard, NYU Department of Justice. 36 meetings in 18 days for a B2B SaaS, and then also 90 plus strategic partnerships for Bootstrap SaaS in less than 6 months. Also took a biotech company that was bootstrapped as well to their first revenue in 60 days, 100% to a cold market. Nobody had no idea who they were. And here's just some small examples: booking with SAP, booking with Fuzzy Door. This is Seth MacFarlane's production company. So these are the people that make American Dad and Family Guy. And then also booking with Samsara over here. Wanted to highlight like quite literally specific client results. This is one of my clients where we booked them 4 meetings within 2 weeks to start off the new year, and he was able to close 1 client out of the 4 meetings we got for him. So that was a $3,200 Canadian deal, and then he has some maintenance revenue coming in there. So you can go watch that video. It's a 1-hour training of me breaking down his go-to-market strategy, finding him message market fit on the call. So you can go find that video down below and go watch it after you do this one. So the problem: most B2B teams fail before they start using some type of random data vendor, generic data from Apollo, stitched together tools, and just reused GPT copy. Like they're relying on ChatGPT to write the emails. So they don't really have a system. Nothing is actually integrated, and there's not a workflow for building this architecture behind it. So this just creates a lot of activity without any leverage, which means there's leaks in the system. So you end up obsessing over micro tweaks, changing the copy from day to day. What if we adjusted, this like 12 hours from now? Like, you do have to keep in mind that cold email, the main lifter is offer. How strong is your offer and how much volume are you sending? So in this case, you don't have a go-to-market system. You just have stitched together tactics. So the new way of doing things: infrastructure is going to yield a greater return than tactics. So real outbound architecture looks like targeting logic to messaging, messaging to reply handling, replies to iteration, iteration to positioning. The infrastructure itself protects the brand, and volume is controlled, not reckless. A lot of times when I log into like my consulting clients, like if it's their first time meeting with me, looking inside of their Instantly account, and you'll see massive like swings in volume where you have like one day, all the volume gets sent out, and then the rest of the week there's nothing. The volume should be pretty consistent, if just not increasing for the most part, right? Because cold email is not, the success in cold email is not going to be dependent on like one simple copywriting trick. When architecture is sound, tactics matter less. When architecture is broken, tactics don't matter at all. So weak go-to-market teams focus on just random activity, random sending volume. They don't understand and they're not tracking their ratio from their sends to their affirmative responses to their calls scheduled. And they have no way of forecasting their go-to-market as they're not willing to buy data. So they test slow and infrequently, and therefore nothing works for us. So what does this look like in real time? This would look like the person that, maybe they say that they're going to try a cold email and they send out 50 emails a day and they're like, I don't want to spam people. I don't want to, send too much. And so they're not going to buy data as fast as, for example, our firm, where we send 10,000 emails a day for each client. We're buying the data so much faster. That person that sends 50 emails a month, it's going to take, or 50 emails a day, it's going to take them months to actually catch up to me in terms of how much data they have available. So strong go-to-market teams focus on consistent volume, like I said, strong offer times volume, and do not rely on creative copywriting or branding. Of course, you have to be able to come up with angles and strategize something that's going to break through the noise in the market, but you're not relying on like one simple like trick or like word to get people to book. Understanding your ratio from your sends to your affirmative responses to call scheduled is very important, and you can forecast expected go-to-market results and test fast to buy data. Test fast frequently and at scale, and therefore these people are talking about they figure out a solution. They can figure out how to go to market. So a proper cold email go-to-market expansion is not marketing. Marketing is softer. It broadcasts to the audience, waits for inbound interest, optimizes for awareness, measures just like impressions and clicks, somewhat what I would consider vanity metrics, hopes someone raises their hand, and budget scales linearly with results. With the proper cold email go-to-market architecture, you can target the specific accounts that have intent, create your conversations proactively. You optimize for the reply rate and then the qualification from that. We don't even track the open rates. Measure pipeline and revenue impact, controls who enters your funnel and when. You have control over who you're speaking to. And then the system compounds through learning loops and feedbacks and, of course, different angles that you can shoot, right? So how to actually do this. Step one, you're going to want to identify your top 4 ICPs. So back out of your existing clients, your strongest case studies, where are you seeing the best results with your traction and your sales calls? Do not just pick this based on theory or preference or like, oh, it would be nice to work with these people, or these people sound nice to work with. Of course, you can do some testing like that, that is adjacent to your core go-to-market, but you want to have 3 to 5 core ICPs that you're running outbound to. Your messaging needs to match each industry exactly. So for each ICP, you need industry-specific messaging. You can't use generic copywriting templates, reuse the same copy across industries, or ask ChatGPT to just randomly generate some copy for your offer. It's not going to match or mesh well, and people can instantly tell when the email is from somebody outside of their industry. Think about like some of the cold emails you might have received. You can tell pretty quickly like if that person is in your industry or not. I know that when I used to be a director of sales in the translation and localization space, there was emails that we would get where someone just didn't speak the language of what we were talking about, no pun intended. And those cold emails fall flat, right? It's just like marked as spam, marked as, don't read it, right? So you need to understand how the industry talks, what they already believe, what problems they acknowledge, and then what language signals credibility in that space. Cold email fails when the message sounds like it came from outside the industry. You also need to make sure that you optimize the offer for cold traffic. So your offer must be designed for cold traffic, not warm traffic. Cold prospects, they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't care. And your offer cannot rely on like brand recognition, about us, like paragraphs that some people put in cold emails. long narratives. It needs to be able, your offer itself needs to be able to stand on its own. Like if you didn't put the company name in there, if you didn't even necessarily put exactly what you're selling, these actually works really well for cold email, but you just put the offer itself. We do X in X time frame for X companies without X, or something along those lines, right? It needs to be able to stand on its own. And effective cold offers often include the risk reversal guarantee, diagnostic assets. So you're able to diagnose very quickly right off the bat, not only what is going on, but you can include that in your offer. And this is not just like offering, hey, we can do a free audit, but actually you diagnose what is their problem. Like this is an example for like my logistics clients. You diagnose, okay, where's the spend problem at? We can save you this much. We don't charge you until we actually, do this for you. And so that's a diagnostic asset. Clear outcomes supported by case studies, of course, and you can lead with those case studies sometimes as well. If the offer is weak, no amount of personalization will save it, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Also, test multiple angles intentionally. Next, you want to test a fixed number of angles. So this could be 5, 10, 15, depending on your TAM and the industries that you're selling into. But keep the same ICP, keep the same offer, same structure of like the steps in the emails, like 4 steps or 2 steps. Only the angle that you're shooting changes. So this could be anything from a direct ask to a call to all the way down to gifting AirPods, and decide the number of angles in advance so you don't emotionally react to early results or like wanting to pivot too early. Of course, like once again, testing is important, but you also have to understand you can't just like go in and make pivots every single day and expect to receive some type of signal. Let the market tell you what works. Now, quick side note, why hyper-personalization is overrated. There's a lot of talk about hyper-personalization. Like we have to pull from Clay and hyper-personalize the email and make it super friendly and go on LinkedIn and figure out what they were doing 2 weeks ago. The reality is that if I receive emails like that, I'm like, this is like, it's just like too friendly. The offer is typically too weak in these cases. The offer is what should be providing most of the lift. And if you're having people get on meetings with you just because you took a look at their LinkedIn, that means they're typically just want to be your friend. They don't really care about your offer, your business. So people don't care that you check their LinkedIn. They know the compliments are either automated or like they've seen it before, right? And it just feels soft and indirect, like you don't have enough confidence in your offer. And so the over personalization often signals my offer isn't actually strong enough to be direct. So I have to lead with being like friendly and being like, oh, hey, won't you be my friend first and then we can get on a call, like type of thing. So a strong offer delivered clearly will outperform shallow personalization every time. Scale what works. Once you identify the angles that perform best, expand that across your entire TAM, increase your volume gradually, protect your infrastructure, of course, and then you do not just keep guessing, you scale what the data is already proven that works, right? So we're essentially with cold email go-to-market at scale, you're buying data as fast as you can, right? So this is why when people tell me that they're like, oh, we'll send 50 emails a day, we're going to personalize them. And unless these are like, when I say hyper-personalization in this sense, I'm talking about you're giving them like you're giving them free work. Like you're like, hey, I did this for you. Here it is. It's already done. Here's how you use it. Can I get your thoughts on it? Or you can throw it in the trash, right? That's how you put together like actual like personalized emails. But you want to be able to buy data on your offer at scale. You need to figure out, does your offer work for front-end cold traffic? Because if it works for front-end cold traffic, it will work for the warm traffic and the ads that you run, right? So track signal at every stage. You should be tracking your sends to affirmative responses. So these are also considered marketing qualified leads. And then marketing qualified leads to calls booked, calls to the buying feedback, where are the objections? And then you can plug those objections back into the front end. So this is signal, not just noise, and do not judge success by how the copy feels, right? We have a lot of feelings as human beings. You are also going to have bias with this, right? Like if you write the copy compared to someone else, most of the time you're typically going to be biased towards your copy because you're wanting to protect your own ego. and just judge it by what the data says. We've had clients where they're like, we want to have the emails be like paragraphs. And 99% of the time, this doesn't work. But for some clients in a very niche space, it did work to write a whole lot more than just 3 lines. Like we wrote paragraphs, put emojis in there, and we actually booked a lot of meetings from this, but that only works like 1 to 2% of the time. So feed market feedback back into the system. So everything you learned from replies and calls should be fed back into, like I said, your cold email messaging, pre-call framing, sales assets, LinkedIn content, UTent content, ads, and then the retargeting from that, because you're wanting to pre-handle as many objections as possible. The market will tell you what resonates, what creates resistance, and then also what drives decisions. And if you just listen, the market will write the messaging that you need for you. So this is not a system, or this is a system that we build, not just a campaign. And cold email works when it functions as a closed loop system. So ICPs to your messaging, to your offer, to the different angles that you're testing, scale that to volume. Once you have more signal, you'll gather more feedback, add in the feedback from your sales calls, and then refine your entire sales process from end to end with that. So if any part is missing, results become inconsistent. And if you do want to chat with me about cold email and go to market for your company to book with some names like this, also actually get revenue in the door like this client did within his first 4 meetings, you can go watch this video right here. And then also there's a link down below for you to book a call to speak with me. If I feel like it's a good fit for us to work together, I'll let you know. And if I don't feel like it's a good fit, I'll let you know as well. So appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.